close your eyes and take a slow breath. Let the world you know drift away, replaced by the whispers of the past. We are about to travel through time, not on horseback, not on trains, but in imagination, carried by the soft, steady pulse of history itself. We will wander medieval streets, where the aroma of cooking mingles with the earthy scent of cobblestones and livestock. We will enter temples and sleep chambers where dreams were not private, but messages from gods, shaping the lives of kings and commoners alike. We will ride with the daring young men of the Pony Express, racing across vast American plains, braving storms, heat, and exhaustion, all for the sake of a letter. And we will enter sacred breweries, where women of ancient Sumer and Egypt transformed grains into the golden liquid of civilization itself, beer, sacred, nourishing, and powerful. Tonight, we will see the world through the lens of food, dreams, courage, and craft. We will move slowly, breathing with the past, letting each story unfold gently, like the turning of a page in a quiet library long after closing hours. So rest your mind. Let your thoughts settle. We begin, softly, with the curious, humble, and sometimes messy delights of medieval junk food. Scene 1. The strange delights of medieval junk food. Voiceover. In the quiet of a medieval marketplace, just as the evening mist begins to settle, there is a rhythm to life, shuffling feet on cobblestones, the calls of merchants, the soft clinking of coins exchanged, and the occasional laughter of children. And beneath it all, weaving through these sounds, is the irresistible scent of something warm, something fried, something that tempts the stomach and comforts the soul: medieval junk food. Not the golden feasts of kings, with roasted meats and polished platters. This is the food of ordinary people, of laborers, travelers, monks, and children. Food that is quick, simple, messy, but full of warmth and memory. Picture a crooked wooden stall, smoke curling into the twilight. A woman leans over a shallow pan, tossing slices of tart apples into bubbling fat, scraps of dough sizzling beside them. Honey, if she has it, drips over the golden fritters. Sugar, rare and precious, is sprinkled lightly like dusted frost. Children gather, their small hands grasping at nothing, watching, waiting, mouths watering. There are meat pies too, rough, hand-folded pockets of dough filled with morsels of pork, beef, onions, or roots. Some are rich, others humble and mysterious. A traveler bites into one and tastes warmth, salt, and a little uncertainty, perhaps the secret of a discarded cut of meat, but also nourishment that can carry him for miles. And the sweets, the honey cakes, candied fruits, and sticky treats, offer comfort even if only for a moment. Their flavor is a rare indulgence in a world dominated by cabbage, bread, and porridge. Even the smell of roasting and frying draws people in. A small pleasure in a day full of hard labor, a brief reprieve from the chill and dirt of medieval life. And though the food may sometimes upset the stomach or bring discomfort, the people continue to eat. For hunger is relentless, and the desire for warmth, sweetness, and comfort is stronger still. In the markets, the alleys, the hearths of cottages, these simple, strange, sometimes greasy foods are more than sustenance. They are joy, hope, and the small luxuries that connect humans across time. Imagine holding one in your hand, feeling its warmth seep through your fingers, the aroma rising and curling into the night. You bite, and the world softens. You taste the past. You taste life. As the evening deepens, the marketplace begins to glow with the warm light of lanterns and torches. Shadows stretch long across the cobblestones, and the chatter of the day softens into a gentle murmur. The smell of roasting meats drifts from one stall, mingling with the sweeter scent of fried dough and honeyed cakes from another. Each corner holds a story, each alley a secret, each pan a small world of flavor and memory. Look closely at the streets. Children, barefoot and dusty, run between stalls, clutching scraps of bread or candied fennel seeds. Travelers pause, tired from long journeys, their cloaks damp with dew, reaching for warm meat pasties or thin wafers, pressed into the hands of vendors with a practiced flick. Monks from nearby abbeys sometimes wander, eyes downcast, hands folded, yet unable to resist the tempting aromas drifting into the sacred silence of their contemplations. Observe the flickering flames under the frying pans as fat hisses and sputters, turning simple dough into golden fritters. Bread soaked in ale, once stale and hardened, becomes soft and fragrant, a small miracle in a humble kitchen. Candied fruits glimmer in the dim lantern light, their sticky surfaces catching shadows like little treasures, rare gifts from faraway lands. Every bite tells a story. A blood pudding ball, rich and heavy, speaks of resourcefulness, of a people who wasted nothing, who transformed what others might discard into nourishment and sustenance. Fried eel, slippery and bony, carries the taste of rivers, of fishermen's labor, and the thrill of indulgence in a time when delicacies were hard-won. The honey cake whispers of festivals, of laughter and song, of moments where sugar, that precious rarity, transformed a humble day into celebration. Notice the way people interact. Vendors shout names, children giggle and beg, travelers exchange coins with a bow. Each gesture, each smile, each hurried bite contributes to the tapestry of life that stretches across centuries. And though these foods may seem crude to us today, in this moment, they are sacred. They are connection, comfort, survival, and delight. Listen to the subtle sounds, the soft crackle of frying fat, the clink of coins, the murmur of conversation. Even in the chill of a medieval evening, even in a world far harsher than ours, there is warmth. There is light. There is the simple joy of food shared, of hunger satisfied, and of life quietly, beautifully unfolding in the streets and stalls of the market. So breathe slowly. Imagine the warmth of a fresh fritter, the sweetness of honey, the rich scent of roasting meat. Let the sounds of the past lull your mind. Let the flavors drift across your imagination and feel the comfort of centuries-old indulgence in your thoughts. As night drapes its quiet over the town, the marketplace does not sleep. The lights from lanterns flicker against the damp cobblestones, and the warm, golden aroma of frying and baking drifts lazily through the air. It is here, in the twilight hush, that the medieval treats reveal themselves, not as mere food, but as stories of survival, indulgence, and ingenuity. Take, for instance, the apple fritter. Simple in appearance, yet magical in execution. Tart apples, sliced thin, dusted with flour, and dropped into a pan of reused pig fat. They sizzle and dance, turning golden brown, their edges curling slightly, while a whisper of honey or sugar melts into their warm hearts. One bite, and the sharp tang of the fruit meets the sweetness, a perfect balance that brings a flicker of delight to the weary traveler. In a world dominated by cabbage and coarse bread, this was a rare, fleeting joy. Then there were cheese curds, fresh, bite-sized morsels, soft yet firm, perfect for a quick snack. Carried by monks along pilgrimage routes, or tucked into the pockets of laborers, they were a taste of comfort, simple yet satisfying. Turnip pies, humble and unassuming, offered warmth and sustenance for those who could not afford lavish fare. Their aroma, earthy and faintly sweet, mingled with the smoke and chatter of the streets, an unpretentious reminder of nourishment's gentle presence. Consider meat pasties, the medieval equivalent of a portable hot meal. Wrapped in thick dough, filled with meats, vegetables, and spiced gravies, they were a small, enclosed world of flavor. Travelers could hold them in one hand, eat them on the road, and feel momentarily shielded from the hardships of their journey. And the sweets, candied fennel seeds, honey cakes, wafers, and sucket, those precious candied fruits from faraway lands, offered a fleeting taste of luxury. They were eaten slowly, treasured bite by bite, their sweetness a rare indulgence in a frugal world. Children might sneak a wafer or nibble a candied fruit in secret, savoring a taste that would linger in memory long after it had vanished from the mouth. Even the unusual, the strange, and the leftover were transformed. Fried fish skins, brittle and savory, turned discarded scraps into a crunchy treat. Bread soaked in ale or wine softened, enriched by the warmth of fermentation, becoming a humble pleasure for those willing to taste it. Blood pudding balls, dense and iron-rich, provided sustenance while embracing the principle of nothing wasted. Fried eel, though slippery and bony, was prized by those who relished its unique texture and flavor, a delicacy in its own right. These foods were more than nourishment. They were markers of status, of ingenuity, of culture. A sweet treat might hint at wealth or connection to distant lands. A savory snack could sustain a laborer through a long, cold day. And all of it, every bite, every smell, every sizzling pan, was intertwined with the rhythm of life itself, the heartbeat of the town, the unspoken stories of countless hands, mouths, and minds. Close your eyes and imagine the flicker of torchlight on the market stalls. Hear the soft hiss of frying, the quiet laughter of children, the low murmur of conversation. Smell the mingling aromas of apples, honey, roasted meat, and smoked fish. Feel the warmth of a freshly fried fritter in your hand, the sticky sweetness of candied fruit on your tongue. In these small, humble, and sometimes strange treats, the medieval world reveals itself, not just as a place of toil and struggle, but as a world where joy could be found in small bites, fleeting moments, and the soft comfort of shared flavors. As darkness deepens and the marketplace quiets, the mind drifts inward. The world of waking fades, and the world of dreams begins to awaken. Long before psychology, long before the theories of the mind, humans listened carefully to their dreams. They believed dreams were not random. They were messages, whispers from gods, omens sent to guide, warn, or reveal truths hidden from ordinary sight. In Mesopotamia, dreams were sacred instruments of power. Priests, trained from youth, learned to interpret every shadow, every sound, every strange twist of vision in sleep. A dream of rising waters might foretell a flood, or the unexpected death of a ruler. A vision of strange animals could predict war, prosperity, or calamity. These interpretations were not casual. Kings and nobles relied on them, decisions of life and death balanced on the careful reading of a dream. In Egypt, temples provided spaces where dreamers could seek insight. Pilgrims came to lie in sacred chambers, hoping to receive guidance from the divine. Sometimes they dreamed of healing, sometimes of warnings. The Egyptians even kept dream books, cataloging favorable and unfavorable visions, ensuring that the wisdom of the night was preserved and passed down. The Greeks, too, treated dreams as bridges between the human and the divine. In temples dedicated to Asclepius, god of healing, dream incubation was practiced. Those seeking cures or guidance would sleep in these hallowed spaces, and the visions they received were interpreted with care and ceremony. Dreams were medicine, prophecy, and sacred counsel all at once. And then there was Artemidorus of Daldis, whose work stands as one of the most comprehensive guides to dream interpretation in antiquity. He understood that context mattered: who dreamed, where they lived, what their life was like. Dreams were not universal. They were personal, complex, and symbolic. A snake in the dream of a farmer meant something very different than a snake in the dream of a king. Artemidorus' careful attention to nuance hints at something modern, that even in ancient times, humans sensed the depth and meaning of the unconscious mind. Dreams were powerful. They could legitimize rulers, warn of danger, influence decisions of war and peace. Nightmares were feared as dangerous omens, and rituals, prayers, or offerings were performed to ward off their malign influence. Dreams were woven into every layer of society, politics, medicine, and spirituality, reminding all that sleep was not mere rest, but a portal into hidden truths. Close your eyes and imagine a dimly lit chamber. The flicker of oil lamps casts moving shadows on stone walls. A king or a commoner lies upon a simple mat, eyes closed, mind adrift. He dreams of rivers, of strange animals, of lost companions or flying figures. Some dreamers awaken with comfort, others with unease, yet all carry the guidance of night into the waking day. The past teaches us that even in times we might call primitive, humans sought understanding of themselves and the world through the mysterious language of dreams. And as your own mind drifts gently towards sleep, let these stories remind you, the night has always been a place of mystery, a place where messages arrive softly, wrapped in the quiet language of the unconscious, whispering secrets meant only for those who listen. Long after the sun has dipped below the horizon, when the stars scatter like silver dust across the vast American sky, there were men who wrote not for glory, not for leisure, but for connection, connection across great distances, across mountains and rivers, deserts and forests. They were the riders of the Pony Express, young and fearless, carrying letters, messages, and hope between the east and the faraway lands of California. Imagine a young rider, barely more than a boy, mounted on a lean horse, the reins gripped tightly in calloused hands. His cloak flutters in the wind, the chill of night biting at his cheeks. He has traveled for hours, leaving behind the small towns and settlements of Missouri, galloping across plains that seem endless under skies vast and indifferent. He carries a single satchel, letters inside, each one a lifeline, a voice from home, a whisper of love, a plea for help. The weight of the world is light, yet heavy, for every mile is a test of endurance, courage, and skill. The Pony Express was more than speed. It was bravery. Riders faced storms that turned plains into rivers of mud, snow that froze the breath, winds that cut like knives. There were rivers to ford, mountains to climb, and the ever-present threat of bandits or wild animals. Horses were changed at stations, swift and strong, their muscles glistening in the cold night air. Over 400 horses and nearly 200 stations stretched across nearly 2,000 miles, a chain of life linking a young nation with threads of communication. Picture the relay. One rider arrives, exhausted, hands shaking, and transfers the mail to the next, who rides into the night without pause. Time is measured not in hours or days, but in courage, determination, and the steady thrum of hooves against the earth. 10 days, and a letter could cross the continent. A miracle in its own way, a testament to human endurance and ingenuity. Though brief in history, the Pony Express became legend. It symbolized the vastness of the land, yet also the ability of human courage to bridge it. It reminded a young nation that communication was more than words. It was trust, it was unity, it was connection against the odds. And as you imagine the rider, feel the rhythm of the horse beneath him, the wind rushing past, the night stretching infinitely. Let it remind you of determination, of the quiet heroism hidden in everyday tasks, and of the way humans reach across distance, time, and fear to keep their connections alive. Even as the telegraph would one day render the Pony Express obsolete, the courage of those riders, the endless gallop across plains, continues to echo in our imagination. A soft, enduring rhythm like a heartbeat through history. Long before the clatter of modern cities, long before the first taverns or alehouses, there was beer, golden, frothy, sacred, and ordinary all at once. In the fertile lands of Sumer, near the winding rivers that cradled civilization itself, women and men tended to barley and wheat, not only to feed the body but to create a drink that nourished the spirit. Imagine a clay pot, ancient and worn, filled with the beginnings of fermentation. Steam rises, carrying the aroma of sweet grains, of honey, of water transformed by human hands into something magical. This is not just drink. It is ceremony. It is sustenance. It is life. The hymn to Ninkasi, the goddess of beer, reveals the reverence of the time. Brewing was prayer. Each step, from malting the grain to boiling the mixture, was an act of devotion. Women, often the custodians of this craft, poured skill, knowledge, and care into every batch. They measured not only with tools but with intuition, with memory passed down through generations. Beer in Sumer was more than refreshment. It was a social glue, bringing communities together, fueling laborers in the fields, honoring the gods, celebrating births, weddings, and festivals. It was safer than water, more nutritious than plain bread, and deeply intertwined with the rhythm of daily life. The process itself demanded patience and respect. Grains were soaked, crushed, and left to rest. Yeast worked silently, unseen, turning sweet liquid into something that could intoxicate, delight, and connect. Every sip carried with it centuries of understanding, of trial and error, of devotion to craft. Imagine walking through an early Sumerian village. The sun sets, and smoke rises from homes where beer is being brewed. Women tend the bubbling vats, stirring with long wooden paddles, inhaling the warmth, guiding the mixture with care. The aroma spreads through the air, inviting neighbors to gather, to taste, to share in the simple, sacred joy of fermented grain. Even in temples, beer held spiritual significance. Offerings were made to deities. Rituals incorporated it, not merely as drink, but as a symbol of abundance, sustenance, and the delicate balance between humans and the divine. To brew was to participate in the creation of life itself, to honor both earth and sky, both mortal and immortal. Close your eyes and picture the golden liquid, sunlight captured in clay, frothing softly as it is poured into cups. Hear the quiet murmur of villagers as they gather, laugh, and sip. Feel the warmth of the drink, the connection between hands and hearts, the continuity of a practice that has traveled through millennia to reach our own times. Beer was not merely beverage. It was a bridge between past and present, between human labor and divine blessing, between nourishment and celebration. And as we sip it in imagination, we drink not just of barley and water, but of history itself, golden, rich, and eternal. As the sun rises over the Nile, its golden light spills across fertile fields, and the hum of life begins anew. In this land of flowing waters and eternal cycles, beer is more than drink. It is sustenance, ritual, labor, and celebration, woven into the fabric of everyday life. Picture the bustling breweries along the riverbanks. Long stone tables hold piles of crushed grains. Women, skilled and practiced, move with quiet authority, their hands turning barley into mash, their eyes knowing the precise moment when fermentation begins. The air is warm, filled with the sweet, yeasty scent of transformation. Each vessel, each clay jar, holds not just liquid, but the pulse of a civilization. Beer was a daily companion for workers and peasants, a source of nutrition that fueled long hours under the desert sun. Pharaohs and priests drank it in more refined forms, enjoying its sweetness and froth, celebrating victories, festivals, and sacred rituals. Temples received offerings of beer, an offering both mundane and divine, binding the human and the spiritual in one golden cup. Imagine the rhythm of production. Women scoop, pour, stir, and strain. They work in harmony, their labor a dance of precision and care. Knowledge of fermentation, timing, and flavor is passed down through generations, a sacred trust between one woman and another, from one household to the next. The craft is alive, breathing with the labor of hands and the patience of the soul. Beer sustains more than bodies. It strengthens community, creates bonds between neighbors, workers, and families. Festivals echo with laughter, songs, and the clink of cups. Workers in the fields drink it to sustain strength, and the temple rituals ensure that the gods are pleased, that the harmony between heaven and earth is maintained. Close your eyes and imagine the golden liquid flowing from clay jars, froth rising softly, sunlight captured in amber waves. Feel the warmth of a cup in your hand, the quiet satisfaction of labor completed, the subtle sweetness lingering on the tongue. Hear the gentle murmurs of women and men working together, the soft rhythm of life sustained by this ancient elixir. Beer in Egypt was not simply a drink. It was civilization captured in a cup, labor and devotion, community and ritual, earth and divine, all intertwined. And as you imagine sipping it, let yourself feel the connection to centuries of human care, patience, and celebration, carried across time in the quiet, golden waves of barley and water. In the quiet corners of ancient villages and temples, amidst the rising steam of bubbling grains, women worked with a steady, practiced rhythm. Their hands, calloused yet precise, transformed simple ingredients, barley, wheat, water, and sometimes honey, into something far greater than mere sustenance. They were custodians of life, of ritual, and of civilization itself. In Mesopotamia, women's knowledge of fermentation was revered. They measured and stirred, observing subtle changes, knowing exactly when the liquid had reached its perfect balance of flavor and potency. Their work was both domestic and sacred, carried out in homes and temples alike. Every batch of beer was an act of devotion, a connection between the earth that bore the grains, the water that nourished them, and the divine forces believed to guide all living things. Across the Nile, in Egypt, their expertise shaped not only everyday life but monumental endeavors. State-controlled breweries supplied workers building pyramids, temples, and monuments. Without their skill, laborers would falter, rituals would lack offerings, and celebrations would lose their sustenance. Women ensured that life, work, and devotion could continue, one golden cup at a time. Their influence extended beyond the vessels they tended. They guided social structure, determined the pace of labor, and maintained the delicate balance between necessity and ceremony. Brewing was education, innovation, and authority intertwined. Through their craft, they became silent architects of society, shaping both economy and culture. Imagine the soft morning light filtering into a courtyard. Women bend over clay pots, stirring, pouring, tasting. The sound is gentle, the hiss of steam, the rhythmic tapping of utensils, the low murmur of shared instructions. Their presence is calm but commanding, the quiet heartbeat of civilization. Communities gather around, drinking not just for thirst, but for nourishment, for celebration, for connection, all made possible by these unseen stewards. Close your eyes and feel the continuity of this craft, the careful movements, the knowledge passed from mother to daughter, the quiet pride in a brew perfected. Every sip carries their legacy, the essence of life carefully nurtured, the subtle yet profound impact of their labor. Women were not merely makers of drink, they were makers of society. Through beer, they nourished bodies, shaped communities, and bridged the mortal with the divine. In every golden cup, in every frothy pour, the wisdom, care, and power of these women live on, whispering across millennia, teaching us that even the humblest work can leave an eternal mark. Close your eyes and imagine the gentle rustle of barley fields, stretching toward the horizon, golden in the soft sunlight. The wind carries the faint aroma of ripening grains, whispering stories of human ingenuity and devotion. For ancient peoples, beer was more than a drink. It was a reason to sow, to harvest, and to organize society. In Sumer and Egypt, the need for a steady supply of grain for brewing inspired innovation in agriculture. Farmers carefully planned planting and harvesting, ensuring that barley and wheat would be plentiful, fertile, and ready for transformation into the golden elixir. Irrigation channels, plows, and laborers were coordinated to serve not just the body, but the sacred and social needs of their communities. Beer drove trade as well. Surplus production meant that merchants could exchange grains, ingredients, and even the finished beverage itself. From village to temple, from market to festival, beer connected communities, creating bonds of exchange and trust. It was currency, nourishment, and ritual offering all intertwined. The simple act of brewing influenced entire economies, shaping the way people lived, worked, and interacted. Social hierarchies also reflected the significance of beer. Workers and commoners drank it daily to sustain energy. Priests and rulers enjoyed refined varieties in ceremonies and festivals. Brewing dictated labor schedules, trade agreements, and offerings to the gods. It was woven into the very fabric of daily life, a quiet yet persistent driver of organization and continuity. Picture a bustling village scene. Women tend clay pots, men carry sacks of barley, children watch with curiosity, and traders exchange goods with gentle gestures. Every movement is part of a greater rhythm, orchestrated by the shared understanding that beer is essential. It nourishes, sustains, and unites. It is civilization in liquid form. Even as you drift deeper into sleep, imagine the golden liquid flowing, the soft clinking of vessels, the communal sharing that has echoed across centuries. Feel the invisible threads connecting fields, hands, and hearts, and know that a drink so simple in appearance was once central to the rise of cities, the structuring of labor, and the weaving together of society. Beer was not merely a byproduct of agriculture, it was a cornerstone of civilization, a silent teacher of patience, planning, and cooperation. Every sip, every batch, every careful measure shaped the world, leaving an imprint that echoes to this very moment. As night deepens and your mind drifts softly, let us take a gentle journey through the threads of history, threads woven from the simplest pleasures and the most profound mysteries. Imagine a medieval street, the scent of apple fritters rising from a small stall, the warmth of fried dough comforting weary travelers. Picture the cheese curds, meat pasties, and candied fennel seeds, small joys in lives shaped by toil and necessity. Food was not only survival, it was comfort, celebration, and a mirror of social life, revealing joy, status, and human creativity in every bite. Now, let your thoughts float to the quiet chambers of ancient dreamers. Mesopotamian priests interpret visions, Egyptian pilgrims seek divine guidance, Greeks meditate in the temples of Asclepius. Dreams carried messages from beyond, guiding rulers, healing the sick, and shaping decisions that rippled across kingdoms. Even Artemidorus reminds us that every mind is unique, every dream symbolic, and every night a chance to glimpse truths hidden in the soft shadows of sleep. Feel the wind across the vast plains of 1860s America. Hear the rhythmic pounding of hooves as Pony Express riders carry letters through storms and darkness. Their courage and determination bridged continents, connecting hearts and minds, reminding us that communication, swift, brave, and human, is the lifeblood of unity, the quiet engine of society. Finally, imagine the golden brew of Sumer and Egypt, women tending steaming pots, rituals blending with daily life, grain transformed into nourishment, celebration, and sacred offering. Beer shaped agriculture, trade, labor, and social order. Through their careful craft, women bridged the human and divine, ensuring communities thrived, rituals endured, and civilizations grew stronger. In every morsel, every dream, every letter, every cup, we see a reflection of human ingenuity, resilience, and devotion. History is not only the story of kings and empires, it is the story of everyday life, of quiet bravery, of devotion to craft, and the search for meaning in the ordinary and extraordinary alike. As you drift deeper into sleep, let these images and stories linger gently in your mind. Let the scent of medieval snacks, the wisdom of dreams, the courage of riders, and the golden warmth of beer carry you into a night of peaceful rest. Sleep, knowing that the past has shaped the present in ways both grand and subtle, that every human endeavor, small or great, leaves an echo, and that the threads of history are always woven into the tapestry of your own dreams. As night wraps softly around you, imagine the streets and marketplaces of a medieval town. The sun has long set, but life continues, guided by flickering torchlight and the aroma of cooking wafting through narrow lanes. Hear the sizzle of apple fritters frying in reused pig fat, sweetened with honey or sugar, a small indulgence that brightens an otherwise austere day. Picture travelers pausing, weary from long journeys, hands reaching for cheese curds, fresh, soft, and comforting, providing warmth and sustenance with every bite. Turnip pies, humble yet clever, fill the air with subtle sweetness, while meat pasties, warm and greasy, offer nourishment on the go, portable parcels of comfort for laborers trudging through cold streets. Candied fennel seeds, rare and precious, linger on the tongue, refreshing breath and aiding digestion, a tiny luxury amidst the rigors of daily life. Imagine honey cakes, dense and golden, enjoyed at festivals, celebrations of life and labor. Fried fish skins crunch under teeth, transforming leftovers into delight. Bread soaked in ale or wine absorbs warmth and flavor, reviving what was once stale. Dried fruits, chewy and sweet, are treasures stored carefully for times of scarcity. And blood pudding balls, rich and iron-laden, show the resourcefulness and respect for life that guided every culinary choice. Even simple medieval pancakes, fried in lard, offer flexibility and sustenance, while wafers, thin and crisp, are sold outside churches, bearing delicate religious impressions. Succulent, candied fruits of elite households, offers sweetness beyond the ordinary, while fried eel, slippery and bony, is a shared delight across social classes. Close your eyes and taste these moments, not merely food, but fragments of life, joy, and culture. Each bite, each scent, each preparation tells a story of survival, creativity, and human connection. Imagine the chatter of townsfolk, the laughter of children chasing after a treat, the quiet nods of neighbors acknowledging shared indulgence. Medieval food is not merely sustenance, it is expression, culture, and social glue. In every snack, every morsel, we glimpse the humanity of a time long past, the ingenuity of ordinary people, and the joy that persists even in the simplest of pleasures. close your eyes and drift through quiet nights of ancient civilizations, where sleep was not simply rest, but a gateway to hidden knowledge. Dreams were whispers from gods, messages carried from distant realms, guidance wrapped in symbolism and mystery. In Mesopotamia, priests studied dreams with meticulous care. They believed that every vision contained omens, instructions, or warnings. A dream of flowing water could signal abundance or a flood. The appearance of a lion might foretell conflict or courage. These visions shaped decisions, guiding kings, farmers, and communities alike. Dream interpreters were revered, their wisdom a bridge between human concerns and divine will. In Egypt, temples became sanctuaries for dream incubation. Pilgrims slept within sacred walls, seeking guidance from the gods through visions. Dream books cataloged patterns of good and ill, teaching that the night held keys to understanding both fortune and misfortune. Every dream, whether prophetic or troubling, was treated with reverence, studied with patience, and acted upon with care. The Greeks, too, saw dreams as instruments of healing and insight. Temples of Asclepius offered incubation, where the sick and the seeking slept in hope of divine messages. Dreams could reveal cures, uncover truths, or warn of danger. Artemidorus of Daldis, in later centuries, introduced nuance, teaching that interpretation depended on the dreamer's context, their social standing, their personal circumstances, their inner life. Imagine lying on a woven mat, the faint scent of incense rising, the soft murmur of attendants in the temple. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the dream world opens. Strange images form, vivid yet elusive, blending animals, rivers, and faces you know and do not know. Each symbol is a key, each feeling a guide. Through dreams, rulers find legitimacy, healers find cures, and ordinary people glimpse the sacred patterns that shape their lives. Let yourself feel the calm patience of these ancient interpreters, the gentle study of signs, the reverence for the unseen. Dreams were not random. They were maps, coded messages from forces beyond comprehension, teaching humanity to listen, to reflect, and to act with care. As you drift further into sleep, imagine yourself walking through these ancient chambers, listening to the whispers of the divine, understanding that every vision holds a story, and that even in silence, the night speaks. Close your eyes and feel the soft wind sweeping across the endless plains of 1860s America. The horizon stretches far and wide, dust rising gently in the warm morning air. Across this great expanse, the Pony Express riders gallop, their horses' hooves drumming a steady rhythm that echoes through the open land. These young riders, light and swift, carry letters, small slips of paper that hold the hopes, news, and connections of thousands of people. Their task is simple in words, yet immense in challenge: to bridge continents, to bring the farthest reaches of a growing nation closer together, to carry the human voice across mountains, rivers, and storms. Picture a rider leaning forward, wind tugging at cloak and hair, eyes focused on the next station. The landscape blurs, a patchwork of rivers, hills, and forests, as the horse strains beneath him. Stations appear like safe havens in the distance, where fresh horses wait and weary arms pass letters to eager hands. This relay is a dance of precision, endurance, and courage. Through scorching heat, freezing nights, and sudden storms, the riders press on. Their bravery is quiet but profound, a testament to human resolve. Each journey lasts mere days, yet it transforms lives, shrinking the vastness of a young nation, bringing joy, relief, and connection to families separated by miles and hardship. Even as telegraphs and railways loom on the horizon, the spirit of the Pony Express endures, a symbol of innovation, perseverance, and unity. Every gallop, every breathless ride, carries with it the quiet heartbeat of a nation learning to connect, to communicate, and to trust in the courage of its people. Imagine yourself resting beside the trail, hearing the distant pounding of hooves, feeling the faint vibration through the earth. The letters in leather pouches are more than paper. They are hopes, dreams, and messages that bind hearts and minds across distance. The wind carries their stories, and the riders, unsung yet heroic, ensure that no place is truly distant, no voice truly unheard. As you drift further into sleep, let the rhythm of the horses, the courage of the riders, and the vast, open plains lull you into calm. Feel the connection, the unity, and the quiet strength of human determination stretching across time and distance. Close your eyes and drift back nearly 4,000 years to the Fertile Crescent where rivers glisten like silver threads under the morning sun. Here, in the heart of Sumer, the first civilizations rose, and with them, a humble yet profound invention, beer. Beer was more than a drink, it was life itself. The Sumerians discovered that barley and water, when combined with time and care, could transform into a golden liquid that nourished the body, lifted the spirit, and connected humans to the divine. Clay pots, carefully shaped and fired, became vessels of both sustenance and sacred offering. Imagine the hymn to Ninkasi, the goddess of beer, sung softly as grains were crushed, mixed, and fermented. Each word was a blessing, each step a ritual. Brewing was not just an act of daily life, it was devotion. Women, the master brewers, guided the process with skilled hands and discerning eyes. They measured, tasted, and adjusted, knowing that perfection was both practical and spiritual. Communities gathered to share this gift. Beer was nourishment, yes, but it was also connection. Workers received it for strength, families celebrated with it, and temples offered it to honor gods. Every sip carried a story, a memory, a blessing. The golden foam reflected the sunlight, the liquid a tangible link between earth, water, and human ingenuity. Picture a Sumerian courtyard, the air warm and fragrant with barley and sweet honey, women leaning over steaming vessels, their movements steady and deliberate. The soft laughter of children mingles with the low murmur of conversation as neighbors and pilgrims await the next cup. The world feels calm, safe, and whole, held together by the golden brew that sustains both body and spirit. Even now, in the quiet of sleep, imagine the rhythmic stirring of clay pots, the gentle pouring of liquid, the communal joy of sharing sustenance and devotion. Beer, in its earliest form, was a teacher of patience, precision, and reverence. It reminds us that even the simplest acts, grinding grain, mixing water, waiting for transformation, can shape civilizations and nourish souls. As you drift deeper into slumber, let the golden glow of Sumerian beer, the care of masterful women, and the sacredness of everyday craft envelop your thoughts. Feel the continuity of human ingenuity, the soft pulse of history, and the quiet miracle of life shaped by devotion, patience, and love. Close your eyes and let your imagination drift to the banks of the Nile, where the river glimmers under the golden sun and the scent of fertile soil fills the air. In ancient Egypt, life flowed with the rhythm of the river, and so too did the brewing of beer, a gift as essential as the waters themselves. Beer was woven into every facet of Egyptian life. It nourished workers who built monumental pyramids, fueled laborers tending the fields, and honored the gods in temples with offerings of golden liquid. Each batch, carefully measured and fermented, carried with it devotion, skill, and reverence. Picture women tending vast clay vats, their hands moving with practiced grace, stirring, tasting, adjusting. They were the custodians of an ancient craft, ensuring that the fermentation proceeded smoothly, that the mixture remained sacred and life-giving. Their expertise was central, a quiet power that sustained both the people and the rituals that connected them to the divine. Imagine the aroma rising from the breweries, sweet, malty, and earthy, filling the courtyards and alleyways with warmth. Workers pause briefly, drinking deeply from clay cups, their strength renewed. Temples receive their portions as offerings, connecting the human and divine, mortal and eternal. Beer was currency, nourishment, and spiritual conduit all at once. The process itself shaped society. Fields were planted and harvested to ensure a steady supply of barley. Labor was organized around production. Trade routes carried the golden liquid to distant cities, linking communities and creating networks of trust, commerce, and exchange. Beer, humble yet profound, was a cornerstone of civilization, quietly orchestrating agriculture, economy, and social harmony. As night deepens, imagine the soft sounds of life in an Egyptian town. Children laughing, workers chatting softly, women stirring vast vats under the fading sun. The golden liquid flows, connecting earth, labor, and devotion in a continuous, gentle cycle. Even now, as you drift deeper into sleep, feel the calm certainty of life sustained by craft, the quiet power of women shaping civilization through patience and skill, and the sacred essence of beer that nourished bodies, minds, and souls. Let the golden warmth of ancient Egypt lull you, as the rhythms of the Nile and the care of devoted hands carry you into peaceful rest. Close your eyes and imagine ancient villages and cities, where the hum of life moves in gentle, measured rhythms. Across Mesopotamia, Sumer, and Egypt, beer was more than a drink. It was the golden thread that wove together families, communities, and temples, connecting the mundane and the divine. In daily life, beer nourished laborers, giving them strength for long hours in the fields or on construction sites. It sustained travelers, offered comfort to the weary, and created shared moments of joy. Imagine a bustling marketplace, cups of frothy beer exchanged, laughter rising above the clatter of pottery and the soft murmur of conversation. Each sip carries warmth, camaraderie, and sustenance. Yet beer was also sacred. Temples received portions as offerings to gods. Rituals marked the brewing process with prayers and hymns. Ninkasi, the Sumerian goddess of beer, was sung to with devotion, invoking blessings for both the beverage and those who consumed it. In Egypt, beer flowed in temple rituals, honoring deities and ancestors alike, its golden hue reflecting the sun and the sacred cycles of life. Trade and economy, too, danced to the rhythm of beer. Surplus production allowed merchants to exchange grain, ingredients, and beer itself, linking distant towns and cities in networks of trust and commerce. Labor was organized around production, harvest, and distribution, shaping society in ways both practical and profound. Beer was currency, sustenance, ritual, and social glue, quietly orchestrating civilization. Picture women tending vats, men carrying sacks of barley, and children observing with curiosity. Each action, small yet essential, contributes to a greater whole. The careful craft, the shared enjoyment, and the sacred offerings all weave together to create a world that thrives on connection, patience, and devotion. Even as night deepens, imagine the golden foam rising gently in clay cups, the aroma of malt and fermentation filling the air. Feel the calm continuity of life, the invisible threads that link humans across tasks, rituals, and celebrations. Beer, humble yet profound, teaches patience, community, and reverence, a quiet pulse beneath the surface of history. As you drift further into sleep, let these golden threads guide your thoughts. Let the rhythm of ancient lives, the care of devoted hands, and the sacred joy of beer carry you into rest, connecting you to the heartbeat of civilizations long past. Close your eyes and drift into the quiet corners of ancient homes and temple courtyards. Here, women move with calm precision, tending the bubbling vats and golden grains that will become the sacred and sustaining drink of their communities. In their hands, beer is more than liquid. It is life, culture, and devotion. Imagine the soft murmur of conversation, the gentle clatter of clay pots, and the fragrant aroma of fermenting barley. Women measure, stir, and taste, ensuring that each batch reaches perfection. Their knowledge is inherited, honed over generations, blending intuition with observation, patience with skill. They are the silent architects of a craft that nourishes body, soul, and society. Through their labor, communities are fed, rituals are honored, and economies flourish. Beer sustains laborers, fuels temple ceremonies, and strengthens bonds between neighbors. In every village, women's work shapes the rhythm of daily life, ensuring that both sacred and social needs are met with care and devotion. Picture a temple courtyard at sunrise, clay cups filled and offered to gods, while workers pause briefly to drink, drawing strength and warmth. Women oversee this flow, guardians of both the practical and the sacred, linking human life with divine intention. Their hands guide the fermentation, their eyes watch for changes, their wisdom ensures continuity. Even as night falls, the quiet power of their work resonates. The golden liquid reflects candlelight, the aroma lingers in the air, and the soft bubbling of vats becomes a lullaby for the world. They are custodians not only of a craft but of civilization itself, bridging home and temple, family and society, mortal and divine. As you drift deeper into sleep, feel the calm certainty of life sustained by careful hands and patient hearts. Let the quiet devotion of women master brewers wrap around your thoughts, connecting you to the pulse of ancient civilizations and the gentle, enduring art of brewing. Close your eyes and drift across the fertile plains of ancient lands, where rivers nourish the soil and the sun warms the golden fields of barley. Here, the cultivation of grain is not merely a task, it is a promise, a rhythm of life guided by the quiet power of beer. Beer shaped the way communities farmed. Fields were planted, harvested, and stored with care, ensuring a steady supply of ingredients for fermentation. Farmers observed the seasons, tracked rainfall, and tended crops with patience and precision, knowing that their labor nourished not just bodies but the spiritual and social fabric of society. Trade flowed along rivers and roads, carrying barley, beer, and brewing knowledge to distant towns and cities. Markets thrived, communities connected, and relationships formed through the exchange of this golden liquid. Beer became currency, a medium of social trust and economic interaction, linking people across vast distances. Social organization, too, grew around the craft. Labor was divided with purpose, some tending fields, others managing fermentation, merchants distributing the finished product. Temples coordinated offerings and ceremonies, while households preserved knowledge and techniques across generations. Beer was a silent architect, structuring both daily life and societal harmony. Imagine villagers gathering at dusk, sharing cups of golden liquid, laughter rising, conversations soft and warm. Children watch with curiosity, learning from elders. Priests offer blessings, and neighbors pass messages through the shared joy of the drink. Beer is nourishment, communion, and celebration, blending the sacred and the practical in every drop. Even as night deepens, the rhythm of these ancient lives continues. The soft murmur of rivers, the rustle of grain, the gentle bubbling of fermentation, all echo in harmony, reminding us of the patience, ingenuity, and cooperation that sustain civilization. As you drift further into sleep, feel the pulse of life guided by golden fields, by the hands of those who cultivate, craft, and share. Let the quiet influence of beer, the rhythm of agriculture, and the bonds of society lull you into peaceful rest, connecting your dreams to the heartbeat of ancient worlds. Close your eyes and imagine the gentle glow of candlelight in the halls of ancient palaces. Here, the golden liquid of beer takes on new meaning, not merely sustenance, but a symbol of status, refinement, and privilege. In the households of elites, beer was crafted with extra care, using select grains, rare ingredients, and meticulous brewing techniques. The aroma rises softly, rich, and inviting, signaling not just nourishment but leisure, culture, and sophistication. Each cup is an expression of taste, wealth, and distinction, shared in quiet ceremonies or grand feasts. Picture a noble table, the golden foam glistening in clay or metal cups, attendants pouring carefully, conversations flowing as smoothly as the drink itself. Beer, in these settings, communicates power and refinement. It marks the boundaries between classes, distinguishing the everyday from the exceptional, the common from the privileged. Yet even in these refined moments, beer remains a bridge, a connection between the labor of farmers, the skill of brewers, and the enjoyment of those who partake. It carries the story of the fields, the hands that cultivated and fermented, and the wisdom of women master brewers who ensured its excellence. Imagine the quiet pride of the brewers, watching their creations served to kings, priests, and dignitaries. The golden liquid is more than drink. It is testament to craft, patience, and the subtle ways in which everyday life and social hierarchy intertwine. Each sip is a reflection of culture, economy, and devotion, mingling nourishment with ritual, sustenance with sophistication. Even as night deepens, the soft clinking of cups, the gentle laughter, and the warm glow of oil lamps carry a sense of harmony. Beer, humble in origin yet refined in practice, weaves together worlds of labor, artistry, and privilege, reminding us of the human desire to celebrate, honor, and connect. As you drift further into sleep, let the golden liquid and its gentle glow soothe your mind. Feel the continuity of craft, society, and culture, and let the calm distinction of these ancient cups carry you into peaceful rest. Close your eyes and drift through the soft, golden light of early civilizations, where the gentle rhythm of life flows along rivers, across fields, and within homes and temples. Beer, humble in its beginnings, has shaped lives, society, and spirit in ways both quiet and profound. From the fertile crescent of Sumer to the banks of the Nile, beer nourished bodies, connected communities, and honored the divine. It influenced agriculture, trade, and social structure. Women, master brewers, and custodians of knowledge guided each step with care, ensuring continuity and excellence. Each sip was a bridge between labor and leisure, mortal and divine, practical sustenance and sacred ritual. Picture the golden liquid flowing through time, from humble clay pots to bustling marketplaces, from sacred temple offerings to the tables of nobles. Beer nurtured unity, encouraged innovation, and became a silent yet powerful force shaping civilization itself. Its influence rippled through economies, social hierarchies, and cultural practices, leaving a mark that endures even now. Imagine the warmth of a cup in your hands, the gentle aroma rising, the soft clinking of vessels as families, neighbors, and communities share a moment together. Feel the continuity of care, devotion, and creativity that began thousands of years ago, carried by hands and hearts devoted to craft. Beer teaches patience, connection, and the simple, enduring joy of shared sustenance. Even as night deepens around you, let the story of beer, its golden glow, and the hands that created it soothe your thoughts. Let the rhythm of ancient life, the unity of community, and the quiet devotion of generations guide you into peaceful slumber. The legacy of this golden drink is eternal, a gentle heartbeat of human ingenuity, culture, and connection echoing softly into your dreams. Across centuries and continents, simple acts and humble creations have shaped the rhythm of human life. In the streets of medieval towns, people crafted snacks like apple fritters, cheese curds, and meat pasties, practical, filling, and infused with moments of joy. These foods, though modest, reveal the creativity and resilience of daily life, marking celebrations, comfort, and social identity. Farther back, in the temples of Mesopotamia and the courts of Greece, dreams carried messages from realms unseen. Priests and interpreters decoded visions, guiding rulers and commoners alike. Dreams were instruments of legitimacy, omens of caution, and reflections of the human spirit, weaving together the divine and the mortal in quiet, profound ways. Centuries later, across vast American plains, the Pony Express carried letters, news, and hope. Riders braved distance and danger, shrinking continents and connecting communities. Their courage reminds us that even brief moments of daring innovation can leave lasting legacies, bridging isolation and fostering unity. Through it all, beer, golden, fragrant, and sacred, flowed from Sumer to Egypt, nurturing bodies, shaping agriculture, and honoring the divine. Women, the master brewers, guided this craft, linking daily labor to ritual, economy, and culture. Each sip tells stories of connection, patience, and devotion, revealing the invisible threads that bind humans to one another and to the cycles of life. These threads of food, dreams, courage, and craft weave together a tapestry of civilization. Each bite, each vision, each ride, each cup is a testament to ingenuity, care, and the human desire to connect, celebrate, and endure. History is not only events, it is the rhythm of everyday life, the quiet pulse of societies, and the stories carried forward by those who lived, dreamed, and labored before us. As the centuries unfold, these small yet profound moments continue to ripple through time. They remind us that the past, in all its complexity and subtlety, nourishes the present. The snacks we enjoy, the dreams we ponder, the courage we admire, and the beverages we share, all are part of the same human story, quietly guiding the rhythms of life across generations. Life, in every age, unfolds in the quiet details. Streets lined with the aroma of frying apples, marketplaces alive with the clatter of clay pots, and temples echoing with soft chants. These moments form the subtle pulse of civilization. Everyday actions, small yet essential, carry the weight of culture, belief, and continuity. Medieval snacks, carefully crafted and shared, reveal ingenuity and care. They nourish bodies, mark occasions, and reflect social hierarchies. Each bite carries stories of resourcefulness and delight, of communities finding joy amid simplicity. Dreams, interpreted with devotion and wisdom, remind us that humans have always sought meaning beyond the visible. From kings to commoners, visions were seen as guides, warnings, and inspiration. The work of interpreters bridged the material and spiritual worlds, shaping decisions that echoed across generations. Across vast plains, riders of the Pony Express bridged distances, connecting people through courage and perseverance. The rhythm of hooves, the relay of stations, and the urgency of letters reveal the human desire to communicate, to unite, and to overcome challenges that seemed insurmountable. And beer, golden and sustaining, flows quietly through history. It shaped agriculture, trade, and social order, linking home, temple, and market. Women, masterful brewers, guided this craft, nurturing life, culture, and devotion with patient hands. Each cup is a story of connection, skill, and the continuity of civilization. History is not only the grand events recorded in books, it is also the daily rhythms of life, the meals, the rituals, the journeys, and the craft that quietly sustain societies. Together, these threads weave the fabric of human experience, a gentle tapestry that guides us through time. As this reflection lingers, the mind finds calm in the continuity of life. The ordinary and the extraordinary, the practical and the sacred, all flow together, revealing a civilization built on care, ingenuity, and connection. In every corner of human history, ordinary acts carry extraordinary significance. The frying of apples, the careful measurement of barley, the soft murmur of prayers, these are the quiet gestures that shape societies. Each day, repeated with care, becomes the foundation upon which civilizations rise. Medieval streets filled with the sense of sweet fritters, savory pasties, and roasted meats reveal more than food. They show communities learning to delight in simple pleasures, to share nourishment, and to mark social and religious occasions with thoughtful craft. These daily rituals sustain more than bodies. They sustain connection, comfort, and continuity. Dreams, interpreted with wisdom and devotion, offer insight into human aspiration and caution. Ancient interpreters read visions not as mere happenstance but as guiding threads linking individual experience to broader societal needs. Through dreams, rulers sought counsel, communities sought protection, and ordinary people found reassurance. Belief and observation intertwine, shaping decisions with subtle care. The riders of the Pony Express remind us that courage and ingenuity are woven into the fabric of daily life. Each journey, each relay, each galloping horse connects distant communities, shrinking the vastness of the world and revealing the power of human determination. Innovation arises not only from invention but from persistent effort, from the willingness to face uncertainty with resolve. And beer, golden and sustaining, flows through these rhythms of life. Its creation from field to fermenting vat is a testament to labor, knowledge, and patience. Women, master brewers, guide each stage with careful hands, linking nourishment, ritual, and economy. Each sip reflects the ingenuity embedded in daily practice, connecting generations through shared craft and celebration. History is composed not solely of dramatic events, but of the intertwined moments of sustenance, belief, and skill. Together, these threads reveal the quiet genius of human life, the ability to transform routine into ritual, challenge into achievement, and labor into lasting legacy. As the mind follows these threads, a gentle calm settles, revealing the subtle beauty of human ingenuity, devotion, and daily life. Across time and place, human life is shaped by the subtle interplay of daily practice, belief, and ingenuity. The snacks enjoyed in medieval streets, the visions interpreted in ancient temples, the daring rides across vast plains, and the golden craft of beer all form threads woven together into the tapestry of civilization. Food sustains bodies and nourishes social bonds. Apple fritters, meat pasties, and candied fruits are more than simple treats. They mark celebrations, signal status, and reflect the creative spirit of communities. Each bite carries history, connecting laborers, cooks, and consumers in a web of shared experience. Dreams connect minds to the unseen. Interpreted by priests and scholars, they guide decisions, warn of danger, and reveal hopes. Across Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, and Anatolia, dreams bridge the individual and the divine, reminding us that human life is guided as much by insight as by action. Communication threads, like the Pony Express, shrink distances and foster unity. Writers braving danger and distance remind us that connection, whether through letters, messages, or shared stories, is essential to community and culture. Courage and innovation flow alongside daily life, creating ripples that shape history. Beer, golden and sustaining, threads through fields, temples, and households. Its creation requires labor, skill, and devotion. Women master brewers guide each step, linking nourishment, ritual, and economy. Each cup reflects shared knowledge and collective effort, sustaining societies while honoring tradition. Together, these threads, food, dreams, courage, and craft, create a rhythm of life that endures. Each moment of daily practice, each act of insight, each journey and ritual contributes to a living network, invisible yet essential, shaping the arc of civilization. In the quiet spaces between events, in the patterns of ordinary life, the essence of human history pulses softly. These interconnected threads form the subtle, enduring heartbeat of societies, echoing through time and into our understanding of the past. The rhythm of human life is built upon countless small acts, repeated with care across generations. The preparation of food, the interpretation of dreams, the courage to traverse vast lands, and the crafting of golden beer, each carries a lesson, a value, and a connection that resonates far beyond its immediate purpose. Medieval snacks, created with ingenuity and shared with neighbors, speak to creativity, resourcefulness, and community. Every fritter fried, every pasty wrapped, every candied fruit offered nurtures relationships, reflects social identity, and honors tradition. Food becomes both sustenance and symbol, bridging the ordinary and the meaningful. Dreams, carefully interpreted by priests and scholars, guide not only rulers but the collective conscience of society. They embody hope, caution, and reflection, reminding us that culture and decision-making often rely upon insight as much as action. Dreams teach attentiveness, discernment, and reverence for the mysteries that shape life. The Pony Express, swift and daring, demonstrates human determination and the importance of connection. Letters carried across miles unite communities, sustain trust, and foster shared understanding. Each ride is a testament to courage, resilience, and the human need to communicate across distance and time. Beer, golden and nourishing, embodies craft, care, and continuity. Its production integrates agriculture, labor, and ritual, linking households, temples, and communities. Women brewers, the custodians of this craft, exemplify patience, skill, and stewardship, showing how daily practice sustains culture and civilization itself. Together, these practices reveal the foundations of human values: creativity, courage, insight, connection, and care. Each thread strengthens the weave of society, shaping culture, guiding behavior, and connecting individuals across space and time. History is the echo of these values, quietly shaping the world we inhabit today. In the gentle unfolding of life, we see that civilization is not only built through grand events but through the attentive care in everyday acts, the sharing of insight, and the devotion to craft. These foundations of culture endure, forming the invisible scaffolding of human connection and understanding. Human ingenuity is a quiet force, woven into the routines, rituals, and creations of daily life. The fried apples of medieval streets, the careful reading of dreams, the rapid journey of the Pony Express, and the golden craft of beer, all are threads of creativity and resourcefulness that stretch across centuries. Medieval snacks, simple yet inventive, reflect a deep understanding of ingredients, flavor, and practicality. They reveal that even in scarcity, humans find ways to create comfort, joy, and connection. These practices, repeated and refined, teach patience, skill, and the subtle art of nurturing both body and spirit. Dreams, interpreted with attention and care, link human experience to intuition, reflection, and insight. Ancient interpreters recognized patterns, context, and meaning, offering guidance that shape decisions and lives. This practice reminds us that observation and thoughtfulness are essential components of ingenuity. The riders of the Pony Express embody the courage and resourcefulness required to overcome distance and adversity. Their determination to connect people, communities, and ideas demonstrates that innovation arises not only from invention but from persistence, adaptability, and vision. Beer, crafted with devotion and skill, carries knowledge through time. Its production integrates agriculture, labor, and ritual, connecting generations. Women brewers ensured continuity, preserving techniques and traditions that still influence modern brewing practices. Each cup serves as a bridge between past and present, between human labor and culture, and between nourishment and celebration. These historical threads, food, dreams, communication, and craft, persist in subtle ways. They echo in our kitchens, our ceremonies, our innovations, and our shared joys. They remind us that human ingenuity is not fleeting. It is continuous, evolving with time yet rooted in the same desire to create, connect, and endure. As the rhythms of history flow gently through thought, we see that the innovations of the past are never truly gone. They live in the quiet persistence of craft, in the rituals of daily life, and in the enduring human drive to understand, to connect, and to create. Civilizations are built not only upon grand events, but upon the rhythms of daily life. The foods people prepared and shared, the dreams they pondered, the journeys they undertook, and the crafts they cultivated, each act contributes to the formation of identity, community, and culture. Medieval snacks, whether sweet fritters or hearty meat pasties, reveal the ingenuity of people seeking nourishment, pleasure, and comfort. These simple creations shaped social interactions, marked occasions, and reflected the values and status of those who shared them. Food becomes a language of identity, speaking quietly yet powerfully across generations. Dreams, carefully interpreted, link the inner world to societal expectations and beliefs. Through visions, people understood themselves, their roles, and their responsibilities. Interpretation transforms uncertainty into guidance, teaching attentiveness and discernment. These practices reveal how culture and identity are deeply intertwined with thought, belief, and reflection. The riders of the Pony Express, daring and determined, embody courage and initiative. Their journeys shaped perceptions of distance, possibility, and connection. In their efforts, the spirit of innovation and resilience becomes a defining thread of collective identity, reminding us that society is strengthened through shared endeavor. Beer, golden and nourishing, carries the wisdom and labor of generations. Women brewers, stewards of knowledge and craft, linked households, communities, and temples through their careful work. Craft and ritual become a reflection of values, and each shared cup reinforces the bonds of culture, continuity, and collective understanding. Through these practices, identity is nurtured, culture is sustained, and human understanding deepens. The rhythm of daily life, the devotion to craft, and the attentiveness to both practical and spiritual matters shape who we are as individuals and as communities. History, then, is not only a record of events, it is the living story of human identity, crafted through everyday acts of care, skill, and reflection. Each small moment, when woven together, forms the enduring fabric of civilization. History whispers its lessons not only in grand events but in the quiet patterns of daily life. The preparation of food, the observation of dreams, the courage to traverse distant lands, and the careful crafting of beer, These recurring threads reveal enduring truths about human nature. Medieval snacks remind us that creativity flourishes even in constraint. Apple fritters, meat pasties, and candied fruits are more than nourishment. They are expressions of ingenuity, care, and joy. They teach that resourcefulness, shared with others, strengthens community and enriches daily existence. Dreams, interpreted with thoughtfulness, show the importance of reflection and attentiveness. Across ancient civilizations, visions guided rulers, shaped decisions, and connected the individual to the divine. Dreams remind us that insight, patience, and understanding are as vital as action in shaping lives and societies. The Pony Express illustrates the power of determination and innovation. Riders traversed vast distances, bridging communities and ideas, reminding us that courage, collaboration, and perseverance overcome obstacles, however daunting. These journeys carry the lesson that human connection and communication are essential foundations of culture and progress. Beer, golden and sustaining, embodies labor, skill, and devotion. Its creation, managed by women, links domestic life, economy, and ritual. The craft teaches patience, attentiveness, and the subtle interweaving of work and culture. Shared consumption strengthens bonds, reinforces values, and sustains traditions across generations. Together, these threads reveal the recurring patterns of human life: ingenuity in action, reflection in thought, courage in endeavor, and care in craft. They teach that civilization is built upon continuous, attentive acts that nourish both body and spirit. As these lessons unfold softly through time, they invite contemplation. They remind us that the rhythms of history, though subtle, are profound, guiding the flow of societies, connecting people, and illuminating the enduring patterns that shape human life. History flows quietly through the veins of human experience, connecting centuries with invisible threads. The tastes of medieval streets, the visions of ancient temples, the swift journeys across plains, and the golden craft of beer all echo into the present, carrying lessons, rhythms, and inspirations. The simple snacks of the past, apple fritters, meat pasties, candied fruits, remind us that creativity and care are timeless. Though centuries separate us from these kitchens and marketplaces, the essence of making, sharing, and enjoying sustenance persists. In every meal, there is a trace of human ingenuity and the desire to connect. Dreams, once interpreted by devoted scholars and priests, continue to inspire reflection and understanding. The curiosity to seek meaning beyond immediate experience remains a part of human nature. Even today, we pause to reflect, to consider the unseen, and to draw insight from our own inner visions, carrying forward the wisdom of ancient interpreters. The courage and determination of Pony Express riders reflect in modern endeavors, efforts to bridge distances, communicate across divides, and face challenges with resilience. Their spirit reminds us that connection, perseverance, and innovation are timeless qualities present in each act of human endeavor. Beer, golden and sustaining, flows through generations, linking work, ritual, and social life. Its creation and sharing reveal the enduring importance of craft, patience, and community. The labor of women brewers, the careful cultivation of ingredients, and the shared enjoyment of the final product echo in modern brewing practices, reminding us that culture is preserved through care and tradition. Together, these threads, food, dreams, courage, and craft, form a living tapestry. They show that human experience is continuous, that past innovations, insights, and rhythms shape our present lives, and that the essence of civilization endures in the small, attentive acts that define daily life. As these reflections settle, a gentle calm emerges. The past whispers softly into the present, teaching that connection, ingenuity, and devotion are timeless, and that each moment, however ordinary, carries the legacy of countless generations before us. Civilization is built upon countless small acts, woven together over centuries, forming a quiet, enduring legacy. The smells of medieval streets, the sacred spaces where dreams were interpreted, the daring rides of distant messengers, and the golden craft of beer, all speak to the ingenuity, care, and creativity of human life. Food teaches more than nourishment. It teaches connection, celebration, and ingenuity. Apple fritters, meat pasties, honey cakes, and candied fruits carry the essence of communities, shared moments of joy, innovation, and sustenance. These simple acts leave traces across time, echoing in our own kitchens and rituals. Dreams reveal the human desire to understand and reflect, connecting the inner self to the wider world. Ancient interpreters guided rulers and common people alike, reminding us that insight and reflection are as vital as action. The threads of understanding continue, guiding thought and inspiring contemplation even today. The Pony Express, a fleeting but legendary endeavor, shows the courage and determination inherent in human progress. Riders bridging vast distances remind us that connection, perseverance, and shared purpose are essential in shaping communities and societies. Beer, golden and sustaining, embodies craft, devotion, and social cohesion. Women brewers preserved knowledge, labor, and ritual, linking households, communities, and temples. Each shared cup reflects the enduring importance of craft, culture, and communal life. Through these threads, food, dreams, communication, and craft, we see that the beauty of human culture is quiet but profound. It resides not only in monumental achievements but in the rhythm of daily life, in creativity, reflection, courage, and care. As we observe these legacies, a gentle calm settles. The quiet beauty of human history whispers softly, reminding us that every act of thought, skill, and devotion contributes to the tapestry of civilization, and that the ordinary, when lived with care, becomes extraordinary across time. Human societies are held together not only by laws or rulers, but by the delicate threads of innovation, ritual, and shared experience. Across time, the everyday acts of creating, reflecting, and connecting have shaped the fabric of culture in ways both subtle and profound. Medieval snacks, simple yet inventive, were more than food. They were small acts of creativity, bringing people together in markets, kitchens, and festivals. The preparation and sharing of fritters, pasties, and honey treats reveal how innovation in daily life nurtures community, teaches skill, and fosters joy. Dreams, once interpreted in temples and sacred spaces, guided decisions, inspired art, and reinforced shared beliefs. The attention paid to visions, whether prophetic, cautionary, or mysterious, shaped behavior, instilled values, and strengthened communal identity. Ritual and reflection intertwined, showing that insight and practice are inseparable in sustaining society. The Pony Express exemplifies courage harnessed to purpose. Riders traversing vast distances connected far-flung communities, bringing not just letters but trust, news, and continuity. Their endeavor reminds us that innovation, when paired with human determination, strengthens the bonds that hold societies together. Beer, golden and nourishing, embodies the intersection of labor, ritual, and culture. Women brewers preserved knowledge, maintained traditions, and created connections through the shared act of production and consumption. Craft became ritual reinforced community. The rhythm of brewing, from grain to cup, links individuals across space and generations, anchoring social cohesion in daily life. Through these practices, innovation in food, attentiveness in dreams, courage in communication, and devotion in craft, human societies maintain continuity. They demonstrate that culture is not merely a set of rules or monuments, but a living network of shared effort, reflection, and care. In the gentle unfolding of human history, we see that social cohesion emerges from repeated acts of thought, creativity, and connection. Civilization is sustained not only by grand achievements, but by the invisible threads of daily life, quietly binding individuals into communities across time. The flow of history is carried not only by kings, battles, or monumental constructions, but by the quiet rhythm of daily life. Each small act, repeated with care, contributes to the shaping of memory, the reinforcement of identity, and the growth of culture. Medieval streets hum with the scent of frying fritters and baking pasties. These small culinary acts are not mere survival. They are expressions of creativity, resourcefulness, and joy. By preparing and sharing food, communities reinforce identity, teach skill, and foster a sense of belonging. Every shared bite is a link between the present and the past, a quiet thread woven into the larger tapestry of human experience. Dreams, carefully interpreted, serve as mirrors of the mind and society. Priests, scholars, and guides recorded visions, decoding symbols and portents that shape decisions and actions. In doing so, they preserved the wisdom of generations, allowing insights to endure. Dreams connect the personal to the collective, reminding us that reflection and interpretation are vital in maintaining continuity and understanding. The riders of the Pony Express, racing across plains and mountains, embody courage, dedication, and ingenuity. Their daily exertions, though physically demanding and often perilous, established vital connections. Through repetition, persistence, and commitment, they strengthened networks of communication and trust, leaving an enduring mark on the collective memory of a nation. Beer, crafted with devotion and skill, carries the essence of care, labor, and community. Women brewers ensured that recipes, techniques, and rituals were preserved, linking generations through knowledge and shared experience. Daily practice in the kitchen and the brewery becomes ritual, embedding cultural values and identity in each measured act. These seemingly ordinary practices, cooking, reflecting, writing, and brewing, shape the extraordinary framework of civilization. They forge memory, reinforce identity, and sustain culture. Each repetition, each small act, is a quiet yet powerful force, reminding us that human ingenuity and care live on not only in monuments, but in the rhythms of everyday life. Civilization is shaped as much by the quiet acts of daily life as by grand achievements. Innovation often emerges from necessity, curiosity, and care, and culture is carried forward through repeated, attentive practice. Medieval snacks, humble yet inventive, show the resourcefulness of people living within constraints. The frying of apples, the careful folding of meat pasties, and the sweetening of treats with honey or sugar are small acts of creativity that ripple outward, shaping community, delighting the senses, and reinforcing social bonds. In every shared morsel, human culture is sustained. Dreams, long regarded as messages from the unseen, reveal the power of observation and reflection. Ancient interpreters guided rulers and ordinary citizens alike, translating visions into insight and action. This careful attention nurtured wisdom, reinforced social order, and cultivated a culture that valued understanding, foresight, and discernment. The riders of the Pony Express, though few in number, left a lasting mark through courage and innovation. Traversing vast landscapes, facing danger and uncertainty, they connected communities, carried vital messages, and demonstrated that persistence and ingenuity could bridge immense distances. Their daily dedication exemplifies how ordinary acts, repeated with skill and courage, can become extraordinary contributions to society. Beer, golden and sustaining, embodies patience, craft, and shared experience. Women brewers preserved techniques, nurtured traditions, and connected households and communities through the rhythm of production and consumption. In these ordinary daily practices, culture is woven into life, connecting labor, ritual, and communal identity across generations. Through these threads, food, dreams, communication, and craft, we see that ordinary acts hold extraordinary power. They are the heartbeat of civilization, the quiet, enduring pulse that shapes culture, sustains memory, and allows human ingenuity to flourish. Even in the smallest gestures, the legacy of humanity is present, resilient, and profound. History is a quiet teacher, revealing the resilience and creativity embedded in human life. From the kitchens of medieval streets to the sacred spaces where dreams were interpreted, from the swift rides of messengers across distant lands to the careful brewing of golden beer, every act carries the imprint of determination and care. Medieval snacks show how people adapted to limited resources, transforming simple ingredients into sustenance and joy. Apple fritters, meat pasties, and candied fruits are evidence of human ingenuity, teaching that creativity flourishes even in constraint. Each shared morsel nurtures community and reinforces bonds, demonstrating resilience through both practicality and delight. Dreams, regarded as portals to insight, reveal the depth of reflection and understanding. Ancient interpreters transformed visions into guidance, shaping decisions and connecting individual experience to broader social and spiritual structures. These practices remind us that reflection and attentiveness are forms of resilience, allowing societies to navigate uncertainty and change. The Pony Express exemplifies courage in action. Riders faced harsh terrain, unpredictable weather, and potential danger with unwavering determination. Their daily journeys, sustained through dedication and discipline, illustrate how persistence and connection are central to human progress. Each ride strengthened ties between communities, reminding us that innovation and bravery are inseparable from social cohesion. Beer, crafted with care and shared in ritual, embodies patience, skill, and cooperation. Women brewers preserved techniques, nurtured traditions, and fostered communal identity through their labor. The quiet rhythm of brewing teaches that culture, knowledge, and social connection are built slowly through attentive practice and sustained effort. Through these historical threads, we see that resilience and creativity are not abstract concepts. They are lived, embodied, and repeated. Each act, whether ordinary or daring, contributes to a larger web of connection, forming the enduring patterns that define human civilization. Civilization is not built in a single day, nor by a single hand. It is the cumulative result of countless acts, repeated across generations, quietly shaping culture, social structures, and shared understanding. Every meal prepared, every vision interpreted, every message carried, and every craft preserved contributes to the vast tapestry of human experience. Medieval snacks, humble yet inventive, illustrate the continuity of human creativity. Apple fritters, meat pasties, and honey treats were passed from hand to hand, enjoyed across generations, and remembered in stories and traditions. Through these simple acts, knowledge, taste, and cultural identity endure. Dreams, interpreted with care and attention, link individuals to their communities and to the wisdom of the past. Priests and scholars recorded visions, building a body of knowledge that informed generations. These practices show that understanding is cumulative, growing richer as insights are shared and preserved. The Pony Express, though fleeting in time, left a legacy that echoes far beyond its years. Riders traversed vast distances, connecting communities, shaping communication networks, and creating shared memories of courage and determination. Each ride, each relay, contributed to a foundation upon which future connections could be built. Beer, crafted by attentive hands and shared with care, demonstrates how traditions are preserved and passed down. Women brewers ensured that techniques, rituals, and knowledge survived, embedding culture into everyday life. Each cup, each measured act, reinforces a lineage of skill, patience, and social cohesion. Through the quiet accumulation of acts, repeated across time, civilization emerges. Generations leave their mark not only in monuments or records but in the subtle, enduring patterns of daily life, acts of creation, reflection, connection, and care. These repeated gestures, small yet profound, form the bedrock of human society and culture. As we trace these threads, a gentle understanding unfolds. History is alive, not only in grand events, but in the ordinary, persistent, and attentive acts of countless generations. Culture is born in the quiet moments of everyday life. In kitchens, streets, workshops, and temples, human creativity and care ripple outward, forming the foundation of society. Civilization is built not only from grand acts, but from repeated, attentive gestures that connect individuals, families, and communities across time. Medieval snacks reveal ingenuity in simple pleasures. Apple fritters, meat pasties, and candied fruits are not only nourishment, but also expressions of care, skill, and social connection. Preparing and sharing food becomes a form of culture, a living thread linking generations, communities, and traditions. Dreams, interpreted with patience and reflection, connect the individual to the collective. Scholars and priests recorded visions, translating personal experiences into guidance, wisdom, and shared knowledge. In this way, understanding becomes a cultural practice, weaving personal insight into the fabric of society. The Pony Express exemplifies human determination and connection. Riders, young and daring, traversed harsh terrain to deliver messages across vast distances. Their courage, discipline, and perseverance demonstrate how individual acts, repeated and connected, create the structures that allow societies to thrive. Beer, golden and sustaining, symbolizes craft, ritual, and community. Women brewers nurtured traditions, maintained knowledge, and connected households and temples through the shared act of creation. Brewing is not only a practical skill, but also a ritualized expression of culture, reinforcing identity and social cohesion with each measured step. Through these intertwined practices, food, dreams, communication, and craft, we witness the emergence of culture. Civilization arises from ordinary acts infused with intention, care, and connection. Each gesture, each repetition, builds a rhythm that endures, linking the past with the present and shaping the human story in subtle, profound ways. Life moves in rhythms, subtle, repeated patterns that shape understanding, social bonds, and cultural continuity. Civilization is not only the sum of grand events, but the unfolding of countless daily acts, each contributing to wisdom, connection, and identity. Medieval snacks, prepared with care and shared in markets or homes, are part of this rhythm. Apple fritters fried in warm fat, meat pasties filled with hearty ingredients, and honey cakes offered at festive gatherings are small, repeated acts that teach skill, nurture community, and reinforce tradition. These rhythms connect individuals across generations, preserving memory and identity. Dreams, interpreted with attentiveness and reflection, are another rhythm of human life. In temples and sacred spaces, interpreters recorded visions, providing guidance and insight. Repeated attention to the patterns of dreams shaped decision-making, reinforced social structures, and allowed communities to learn from the unseen. The Pony Express reveals rhythm in motion. Riders followed daily schedules, traversing stations, exchanging horses, and pressing forward across immense distances. Their perseverance, day after day, created continuity in communication, strengthened social cohesion, and demonstrated the power of repeated, focused effort in bridging space and time. Beer, brewed with ritual and care, carries the rhythm of life through its creation. Women brewers measured, stirred, and fermented, preserving knowledge, fostering connection, and sustaining communities. The act of brewing, repeated across generations, embeds culture into everyday life, linking labor, tradition, and social identity. Through these patterns, the preparation of food, the interpretation of dreams, the transmission of messages, and the crafting of drink, we see that the rhythms of life cultivate wisdom, nurture bonds, and sustain culture. Civilization grows quietly, steadily, through acts repeated with intention and care, forming continuity across generations. Civilization is woven from countless threads, small, repeated acts that form the tapestry of culture, identity, and resilience. In kitchens, temples, workshops, and streets, daily practices connect people to one another, to their past, and to the collective wisdom of generations. Medieval snacks, created with care and imagination, are more than sustenance. They are lessons in resourcefulness, creativity, and joy. Apple fritters, meat pasties, candied fruits, and honey cakes delight the senses while preserving knowledge of ingredients, techniques, and community practices. Each act of preparation and sharing strengthens bonds and fosters a sense of belonging, leaving a quiet legacy of culture. Dreams, interpreted by attentive scholars and priests, reveal the human desire to understand the unknown. Through careful observation and recording, communities turned visions into guidance, advice, and insight. The rituals surrounding dream interpretation cultivate reflection, wisdom, and shared understanding, linking the individual to society and reinforcing the threads of cultural continuity. The Pony Express illustrates the power of determination and connection. Riders, facing harsh terrain and unpredictable weather, followed routines, passed messages, and preserved trust across distances. Their repeated, disciplined acts strengthened social cohesion, demonstrating that continuity arises from commitment, courage, and cooperation. Beer, brewed with patience and ritual, embodies the harmony of labor, tradition, and community. Women brewers nurtured techniques, maintained rituals, and preserved knowledge, embedding social values into the act of creation. The daily, repeated practices of brewing sustain culture, identity, and social cohesion across generations. Through these intertwined practices, food, dreams, communication, and craft, we witness how repetition, care, and attentiveness build resilience, preserve identity, and create the enduring tapestry of human culture. Civilization is alive in these subtle, persistent acts, quietly shaping our shared history and leaving a legacy for generations to come. Every act, no matter how small, sends ripples through time. The way people prepared food, interpreted dreams, delivered messages, or brewed drinks did not vanish with the passing day. Instead, these practices shaped beliefs, social structures, and creativity for generations to come. Medieval snacks, humble yet inventive, are a testament to human ingenuity. Apple fritters, meat pasties, and candied fruits are more than nourishment. They are reflections of culture, status, and communal enjoyment. Their creation teaches creativity within constraints and illustrates how daily practices can influence taste, tradition, and even local economies. Dreams, carefully interpreted by priests and scholars, connect the personal to the collective. Ancient dream manuals, rituals, and incubation practices preserved insights across generations. By reflecting on visions, societies cultivated wisdom, reinforced spiritual beliefs, and guided political and social decisions. These interpretive practices remind us that knowledge, carefully observed and transmitted, can endure for centuries. The Pony Express, though short-lived, left a lasting mark on communication and society. Riders, repeating their grueling journeys day after day, ensured continuity and trust across vast distances. Their dedication influenced the development of communication networks, fostering cohesion and resilience in communities that depended on timely information. Beer, crafted with care and ritual, exemplifies the power of tradition. Women brewers, preserving techniques and knowledge, embedded creativity and social values into their work. Brewing is a practice that connects labor, ritual, and shared enjoyment, leaving a lasting imprint on agriculture, trade, and culture. Through food, dreams, messages, and craft, the ripples of human effort extend far beyond the moment. These seemingly ordinary acts shape society, inspire creativity, and sustain culture. Across centuries, they form the subtle currents that carry human civilization forward, reminding us that small, repeated gestures have the power to influence the course of history. Human effort, repeated across time, is the quiet force that nurtures community and preserves cultural memory. Each act, whether preparing food, interpreting dreams, delivering messages, or crafting drinks, contributes to a living heritage that binds people together and links the past to the present. Medieval snacks, though humble, are a testament to shared experience. Apple fritters, meat pasties, and honey cakes were more than nourishment, they were moments of connection. Families, neighbors, and travelers gathered around these simple treats, sharing stories, laughter, and care. In these interactions, memory and tradition took root, passed gently from one generation to the next. Dreams, recorded and interpreted with careful attention, are threads of cultural memory. Priests and scholars documented visions, rituals, and insights, creating repositories of wisdom. Through these practices, communities learned to reflect, anticipate, and understand, preserving knowledge that shaped beliefs, decisions, and spiritual life across time. The Pony Express demonstrates how dedication strengthens community. Riders, day after day, relayed messages, connecting distant towns and settlements. Their courage and discipline fostered trust, communication, and cohesion, leaving a legacy that influenced the development of networks and shared responsibility in society. Beer, brewed with ritual, patience, and care, embodies cultural memory. Women brewers preserved recipes, techniques, and traditions, passing them down to younger generations. Brewing became a rhythm that linked households, temples, and communities, embedding social values, identity, and continuity into everyday life. Through these acts, preparing food, interpreting dreams, delivering messages, and brewing, humans nurture community and memory. Civilization is not only built in monumental achievements, but also in these quiet, persistent practices that carry tradition, foster connection, and sustain cultural identity. Society is a tapestry, woven not only from grand events but from the quiet, repeated acts of daily life. Every meal prepared, every dream interpreted, every message delivered, and every drink brewed contributes threads of connection, trust, and shared identity. Medieval snacks illustrate this beautifully. Apple fritters fried to a golden crisp, meat pasties filled with care, and honey treats shared among neighbors are more than food, they are gestures of community. Each bite strengthens bonds, preserves traditions, and leaves a subtle imprint on cultural memory. These acts, repeated day by day, weave the fabric that holds society together. Dreams, examined with patience and reverence, reveal another thread. Priests and scholars recorded visions, translating personal experiences into guidance for the wider community. Through repeated interpretation and reflection, knowledge and wisdom were passed down, forming a shared understanding that guided both individual choices and collective decisions. The Pony Express reminds us that connection relies on discipline and perseverance. Writers navigated vast distances, ensuring that letters, news, and hopes traveled safely between communities. Their repeated journeys, despite danger and fatigue, strengthened trust, built networks, and reinforced the cohesion necessary for society to function across space and time. Beer, brewed with care and ritual, embodies shared identity. Women brewers preserved techniques and traditions, creating drinks that nourished bodies, rituals, and relationships alike. Each cycle of brewing embeds culture, memory, and social values into the rhythms of everyday life, linking households, temples, and communities together. Through these acts, food, dreams, messages, and craft, we see how society is woven. It is in the repetition, care, and attention to detail that civilization grows, creating bonds that endure, identities that persist, and a shared human story carried quietly through generations. Civilization grows not in leaps alone, but through the quiet interweaving of human practices. Every meal prepared, every dream considered, every message delivered, and every craft performed contributes to resilience, identity, and cultural continuity. Medieval snacks reveal how resourcefulness and creativity fostered resilience. Apple fritters, meat pasties, and candied treats were practical, nourishing, and comforting. They sustained bodies, lifted spirits, and reinforced social connections. The repeated preparation and sharing of these foods nurtured communities and ensured that traditions survived, even in times of scarcity. Dreams, carefully recorded and interpreted, illustrate the continuity of wisdom. Priests, scholars, and interpreters observed, noted, and shared insights, linking generations through knowledge. Each vision decoded became a thread in a larger web of understanding, strengthening communal decision-making, spiritual insight, and social cohesion. The Pony Express exemplifies resilience in action. Riders traversed dangerous terrain day after day, delivering letters and news, connecting distant communities. Their perseverance ensured that communication endured, that trust remained intact, and that the threads of society were strengthened despite challenges. Beer, brewed with attention and ritual, embodies the rhythm of continuity. Women brewers preserved techniques, nurtured tradition, and reinforced social bonds. Each batch, carefully measured and fermented, became part of a larger cycle of culture, connecting households, religious practice, and labor across generations. Through these intertwined practices, food, dreams, messages, and craft, we see how human efforts create resilience, preserve identity, and sustain the continuity of culture. Civilization is not only a story of grand events, but of repeated, attentive acts, quietly shaping the world across centuries and leaving a legacy that endures in the subtle rhythms of life. Civilization is shaped by the quiet power of consistency. Small, repeated practices, when performed with care, become vessels for creativity, wisdom, and cultural heritage. Through these acts, humanity preserves its knowledge and nurtures imagination across generations. Medieval snacks illustrate this beautifully. Apple fritters, crisp and sweet, meat pasties, warm and hearty, and honey treats, fragrant and celebratory, were more than nourishment. They were expressions of human creativity, skill, and joy. Each preparation, repeated daily or seasonally, taught technique, taste, and tradition, embedding knowledge into the fabric of daily life. Dreams, interpreted with patience and attention, are another form of continuity. Scholars and priests documented visions, identifying patterns and symbols that could guide decisions, healing, and governance. By recording and sharing these interpretations, communities preserved collective wisdom, enriching culture and understanding for generations. The Pony Express demonstrates how consistent effort fosters legacy. Riders, following rigorous schedules, connected distant towns and settlements. Their courage and dedication ensured continuity, trust, and cohesion, proving that repeated human effort can leave a lasting imprint on society. Beer, brewed with ritual and care, embodies cultural creativity. Women brewers preserved recipes, innovated techniques, and nurtured social bonds through shared labor. Each cycle of brewing maintained tradition, fostered learning, and inspired artistry, embedding creativity into the rhythms of daily life. Through these practices, food, dreams, messages, and craft, we see how consistency preserves heritage, fosters creativity, and cultivates wisdom. Civilization thrives not only in monumental events but in these humble, persistent acts, quietly shaping the world and leaving a legacy for generations to come. Society thrives when its practices are interconnected, when food, ritual, communication, and craft flow together, creating a network of shared values and collective memory. Each act, repeated and refined, strengthens bonds and reinforces cultural identity. Medieval snacks are a simple yet profound example. Apple fritters, warm and fragrant, meat pasties, hearty and portable, and honey cakes, rich and celebratory, nourish not only bodies but relationships. Sharing these foods fosters connection, teaches skill, and preserves tradition, reminding us that community is built through the acts of daily life. Dreams, recorded and interpreted across generations, link the individual to the collective. Priests and scholars created systems of understanding, turning personal visions into guidance for society. These practices preserve wisdom, strengthen social cohesion, and embed shared understanding into the culture itself. The Pony Express demonstrates that repeated, coordinated effort can connect distant communities. Riders, traveling day after day across rough terrain, ensured the flow of messages and trust. Their dedication strengthened societal bonds, showing how consistent action builds cohesion and a sense of shared purpose. Beer, brewed with care and ritual, embodies the interweaving of labor, tradition, and identity. Women brewers nurtured knowledge, preserved techniques, and maintained social practices. Brewing becomes a rhythm that links households, temples, and communities, embedding culture and identity in the everyday. Through these interwoven practices, food, dreams, communication, and craft, society gains strength, resilience, and continuity. Civilization is built quietly through acts repeated with intention and care, creating a shared identity that endures, guiding communities across generations. The rhythms of daily life carry with them lessons, inspiration, and the essence of culture. Every small act, when performed with care and attention, leaves a legacy for future generations, preserving knowledge, creativity, and shared values. Medieval snacks, lovingly prepared and shared, teach us how ingenuity and joy coexist with necessity. Apple fritters, crisp and sweet, meat pasties, warm and nourishing, and honey cakes, rich and celebratory, are more than food, they are vessels of cultural memory. Each preparation, each shared bite, passes knowledge and tradition from one generation to the next, inspiring both creativity and connection. Dreams, carefully interpreted and recorded, are threads that weave personal experience into collective understanding. Priests and scholars observed patterns, decoded omens, and documented wisdom, creating guides that nurtured insight and reflection. This careful attention to the unseen preserves knowledge and inspires contemplation for generations yet to come. The Pony Express shows how courage, dedication, and persistence shape the course of society. Riders, facing harsh terrain and unpredictable challenges, connected distant communities, creating trust and cohesion. Their repeated journeys teach resilience, the value of commitment, and the enduring impact of human effort. Beer, brewed with ritual and care, embodies the transmission of culture. Women brewers preserved recipes, refined techniques, and nurtured community through shared practice. Each batch carries with it tradition, identity, and social cohesion, linking past, present, and future in a cycle of creation and celebration. Through food, dreams, communication, and craft, humanity leaves behind a rich legacy. The quiet, persistent rhythms of life inspire generations, preserve culture, and sustain the essence of civilization. These acts, repeated with intention and care, ensure that the story of humanity continues, whispered softly through time. The legacies of human effort are subtle yet profound. Each careful action, whether preparing food, interpreting dreams, delivering messages, or brewing beer, leaves an imprint on society, shaping values, preserving knowledge, and nurturing imagination across generations. Medieval snacks, crafted with skill and shared with care, demonstrate the values of creativity, resourcefulness, and community. Apple fritters, crisp and sweet, meat pasties, warm and hearty, and honeyed cakes, dense and fragrant, teach us that even the simplest acts can reflect thoughtfulness, skill, and a sense of togetherness. These culinary traditions embed lessons of care, ingenuity, and shared enjoyment into cultural memory. Dream interpretation offers insight into the mind and spirit. Priests, scholars, and interpreters carefully recorded and analyzed dreams, transforming fleeting visions into guidance, wisdom, and ethical reflection. By attending to the inner world of human thought and emotion, these practices nurtured imagination, moral reasoning, and communal understanding, leaving a legacy that echoes through time. The Pony Express exemplifies courage and persistence. Riders faced treacherous landscapes, extreme weather, and danger, yet repeated their journeys with determination. Their endurance and discipline shaped societal trust, emphasizing the values of reliability, courage, and dedication, principles that inform community life long after the horses have rested. Beer, brewed with ritual, care, and attention, embodies social cohesion and continuity. Women brewers preserved recipes, refined techniques, and shared knowledge, fostering imagination and innovation while sustaining community and spiritual practice. Brewing links generations, embedding social, cultural, and ethical values into everyday life. Through these intertwined acts, food, dreams, communication, and craft, human effort shapes the imagination, reinforces values, and preserves knowledge. Civilization is not merely a record of monumental events, but a living continuum of care, creativity, and thoughtful labor, whispering guidance and inspiration across centuries. Human practices, repeated with care and attention, serve as bridges between generations. Each act, whether preparing food, interpreting dreams, delivering messages, or brewing, offers lessons in reflection, cultivates wisdom, and sustains the continuity of culture. Medieval snacks are more than nourishment. They are exercises in patience, creativity, and social connection. Apple fritters, fried to golden perfection, meat pasties, filled with sustenance and warmth, and honey cakes, rich with sweetness and celebration, remind us that everyday acts carry meaning beyond the immediate moment. They teach thoughtfulness, sharing, and the importance of maintaining tradition. Dreams, carefully recorded and interpreted, connect the individual mind to the collective experience. Priests and scholars translated visions into guidance for personal conduct, governance, and spiritual understanding. By attending to dreams, societies cultivated reflection, discernment, and ethical awareness, ensuring that knowledge and insight were preserved and passed down. The Pony Express demonstrates resilience and commitment. Riders traversed vast distances, delivering vital messages despite danger and fatigue. Their dedication exemplifies how consistent effort strengthens society, fosters trust, and ensures that the flow of knowledge and communication endures. Beer, brewed with care and ritual, reflects cultural continuity and shared wisdom. Women brewers preserved techniques, nurtured innovation, and strengthened communal ties. Through brewing, knowledge, skill, and tradition are transmitted across generations, maintaining social cohesion and embedding culture into the rhythms of daily life. Through these enduring practices, food, dreams, messages, and craft, humanity cultivates reflection, nurtures wisdom, and sustains the living thread of culture. Civilization is carried forward not only in grand achievements but in the quiet, attentive acts that weave memory, identity, and understanding into every generation. The small acts of daily life, preparing meals, interpreting dreams, delivering messages, and brewing beer, carry forward values, shape traditions, and inspire creativity. They become invisible threads that connect generations, embedding wisdom, skill, and imagination into the fabric of society. Medieval snacks reflect ingenuity, care, and social connection. Apple fritters, golden and fragrant, meat pasties, warm and sustaining, and honey cakes, rich and celebratory, teach lessons of resourcefulness and joy. By preparing, sharing, and savoring these treats, communities pass down knowledge, nurture creativity, and preserve cultural practices that endure across centuries. Dreams, meticulously observed and interpreted, offer guidance and insight. Priests and scholars transformed visions into wisdom for personal and communal decision-making. These practices foster imagination, ethical reflection, and spiritual awareness, ensuring that the subtle lessons of experience and observation persist through generations. The Pony Express exemplifies perseverance and courage. Riders navigating difficult terrain and harsh weather connected distant communities, building networks of trust and cooperation. Their efforts instilled values of commitment, resilience, and responsibility, reinforcing societal cohesion and shaping a collective understanding of duty and dedication. Beer, brewed with ritual, skill, and care, carries tradition and ingenuity. Women brewers refined techniques, maintained communal practices, and encouraged innovation. Brewing serves as both a practical and cultural exercise, linking generations, embedding knowledge, and inspiring creativity, while preserving social bonds and shared identity. Through these intertwined practices, food, dreams, messages, and craft, humanity nurtures values, preserves traditions, and fosters creativity. Civilization grows quietly through repeated, thoughtful acts, ensuring that the legacy of human effort continues to guide, inspire, and sustain communities for generations to come. Civilization flourishes when individual effort aligns with collective purpose. Every small act, preparing food, interpreting dreams, delivering messages, or brewing, serves both personal fulfillment and communal well-being, creating harmony between the self and society. Medieval snacks reveal this balance beautifully. A baker's careful hands crafting apple fritters, a cook filling meat pasties, or a family preparing honey cakes demonstrates skill and care. Each effort nourishes individuals, yet sharing these foods strengthens community bonds, teaching cooperation, empathy, and the value of generosity. Dream interpretation connects the personal and collective. Priests and scholars translated private visions into guidance that shaped communal decisions, governance, and spiritual practice. Individual insight becomes part of a shared knowledge, linking one person's experience to the wisdom of society, harmonizing self-reflection with collective understanding. The Pony Express exemplifies courage and shared purpose. Riders faced danger and fatigue, yet their work delivered essential messages across great distances. Their personal endurance contributed to the cohesion of far-flung communities, illustrating how individual commitment enhances collective trust and unity. Beer, brewed with ritual and care, embodies this harmony. Women brewers preserved knowledge, refined techniques, and shared their craft with families and communities. Each batch nourished bodies, traditions, and social bonds, blending personal skill with collective benefit, connecting generations through shared practice and purpose. Through these acts, food, dreams, messages, and craft, we see the delicate balance between individual effort and societal identity. Civilization grows when personal dedication enriches communal life, when thoughtful action contributes to shared well-being, and when generations learn from one another, quietly weaving harmony across time. Civilization endures through rhythm, the quiet repetition of daily acts, the careful observance of rituals, and the attentive performance of duties. Each small practice, whether in the kitchen, the temple, or across vast landscapes, contributes to the steady heartbeat of human life, sustaining communities and culture across centuries. Medieval snacks remind us of this rhythm. The daily preparation of apple fritters, meat pasties, honey cakes, and other treats reflects diligence, creativity, and care. These actions nourish bodies, strengthen communities, and preserve culinary traditions, maintaining a continuity that links one generation to the next. Dream interpretation carries rhythm of another kind. Priests and scholars devoted themselves to observing visions, recording insights, and passing down guidance. The repetition of careful study and reflection created a steady flow of knowledge, teaching discernment, moral reasoning, and spiritual awareness, preserving wisdom through generations. The Pony Express embodies rhythm in motion. Riders traversed vast distances with remarkable consistency, ensuring messages flowed across communities. Their repeated journeys established patterns of trust, reliability, and resilience, demonstrating how structured effort connects people and strengthens society. Beer brewing exemplifies ritual and rhythm. Women brewers followed cycles of preparation, fermentation, and celebration. Each batch became a link in a chain of tradition, embedding cultural knowledge, social cohesion, and shared identity. The rhythm of brewing connects past, present, and future, sustaining communities through tangible and symbolic acts. Through these intertwined rhythms, food, dreams, messages, and craft, humanity preserves its essence, passes down knowledge, and sustains civilization itself. The quiet, consistent flow of effort and care ensures that culture, creativity, and wisdom endure, whispering softly across the centuries and guiding generations yet to come. The practices of daily life leave traces far beyond their immediate moment. Food prepared with care, dreams interpreted with attention, messages carried across distances, and crafts honed through repetition, all these acts shape the memory of society and nurture a collective consciousness. Medieval snacks, from apple fritters to meat pasties and honey cakes, preserve not just flavor but cultural memory. Each recipe, each shared meal, carries stories, knowledge, and tradition, embedding lessons of creativity, generosity, and community into the hearts of those who partake. Through these small acts, the essence of culture becomes tangible and enduring. Dreams connect the inner world of individuals to the broader collective. By recording, interpreting, and sharing visions, priests and scholars transformed fleeting experiences into guidance that informed society. Patterns emerge, insights deepen, and communities carry forward wisdom encoded in the careful study of the human mind, fostering reflection and awareness. The Pony Express embodies a living memory of courage and connection. Riders, enduring harsh landscapes and risk, established networks of trust that persisted beyond the years of operation. Their efforts became symbolic, entering collective memory as an emblem of dedication, unity, and the human spirit's determination to connect. Beer brewing illustrates the transmission of knowledge and shared experience. Women brewers maintained techniques, nurtured innovation, and preserved social bonds. The continuity of this craft ensures that skills, traditions, and community values flow seamlessly from one generation to the next, creating a shared cultural memory rooted in daily practice. Through food, dreams, messages, and craft, society records its story, nurtures shared understanding, and builds a collective consciousness. Civilization is not only shaped by monumental events but by the quiet, repeated acts that accumulate, ripple outward, and resonate across time, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire and guide. Collective memory is a silent guide, shaping creativity, innovation, and the evolution of culture. The knowledge embedded in daily acts, dreams, messages, and crafts provides the foundation upon which new ideas arise, ensuring that each generation builds upon the achievements of the past. Medieval snacks are more than sustenance. They are experiments in flavor, preservation, and social enjoyment. Recipes for apple fritters, meat pasties, honey cakes, and other treats evolved over time, reflecting innovation inspired by necessity and imagination. These culinary traditions teach adaptability, experimentation, and creativity, demonstrating how small acts can influence culture across generations. Dream interpretation nurtures insight and imagination. Priests and scholars recorded visions, identified patterns, and created frameworks for understanding human experience. This careful observation inspires creative thought, ethical reflection, and philosophical exploration, showing that the study of the mind and spirit drives cultural evolution. The Pony Express embodies ingenuity and determination. Riders, facing vast distances, weather and danger, innovated routes, schedules, and strategies to ensure messages reach their destinations. These practical solutions, born of necessity, highlight how collective effort and creative problem-solving strengthen society and inspire future systems of communication. Beer brewing reflects centuries of experimentation and refinement. Women brewers developed techniques, adjusted recipes, and maintained traditions that balanced practicality with ritual, taste, and community values. This continuous process of innovation ensured that culture remained dynamic, adaptable, and resilient, while preserving the knowledge and skills of prior generations. Through these intertwined practices, food, dreams, messages, and craft, collective memory becomes a fertile ground for creativity, innovation, and cultural evolution. Civilization advances not only through great discoveries but also through the quiet, thoughtful repetition of daily acts, ensuring that imagination, skill, and wisdom flow uninterrupted from one generation to the next. The threads of human practice, carefully prepared meals, interpreted dreams, courageous journeys, and meticulous craft, connect the past, present, and future. Each act becomes part of an unbroken continuum, linking generations through shared experience, knowledge, and values. Medieval snacks remind us of this continuity. The taste of an apple fritter, the warmth of a meat pasty, or the sweetness of a honey cake carries echoes of those who prepared them long ago. These flavors are not just nourishment but living threads of history, reminding us that cultural knowledge, social bonds, and shared joy transcend time. Dream interpretation bridges individual insight and collective wisdom. The careful records of priests and scholars allow modern society to glimpse the priorities, fears, and hopes of the past. Dreams, once messages from gods or spirits, now inspire reflection, creativity, and an appreciation for the human mind, preserving continuity of thought across centuries. The Pony Express exemplifies temporal connection. Riders of the past carried letters and messages that sustained communities, linking remote regions and establishing networks of trust. Though the horses have long since rested, the legacy of determination, courage, and connection continues to influence how we communicate and organize societies today. Beer brewing sustains cultural continuity through cycles of practice and ritual. Women brewers passed down knowledge, refined techniques, and maintained communal traditions. Each batch of beer connects past expertise with present enjoyment, inspiring future innovation while honoring the care and wisdom of previous generations. Through food, dreams, messages, and craft, human practices weave an enduring tapestry. Civilization is sustained by these threads, ensuring that the lessons, joys, and wisdom of the past continue to enrich the present and guide the future. In this quiet continuity, the rhythm of human life flows steadily, shaping culture, memory, and imagination across time. Human practices are threads that weave people together, creating a sense of connection and belonging. Each act, whether preparing food, interpreting dreams, delivering messages, or crafting beer, strengthens bonds, cultivates empathy, and nurtures the social fabric that sustains communities. Medieval snacks serve as more than nourishment. They are shared experiences. Apple fritters passed from one hand to another, warm meat pasties offered at markets, honey cakes shared during celebrations, all cultivate closeness. Through food, individuals participate in communal life, finding joy in giving and receiving and reinforcing the invisible ties that unite them. Dreams extend this connection into the spiritual and emotional realms. Priests and scholars translated personal visions into guidance that shaped communities, offering insight, comfort, and understanding. By connecting individual experience with collective wisdom, societies built empathy, trust, and a shared sense of purpose. The Pony Express embodies connection across vast distances. Riders bridged remote towns and settlements, carrying letters that nurtured relationships, sustained families, and maintained social networks. Their efforts exemplify how dedication and courage create bonds, turning individual journeys into communal lifelines. Beer brewing illustrates connection through craft and tradition. Women brewers shared knowledge, mentored apprentices, and celebrated communal rituals. Each batch becomes a shared creation, linking lives and generations, and reinforcing belonging through the practice of a meaningful, collective craft. Through these practices, food, dreams, messages, and craft, humans cultivate connection, empathy, and a sense of belonging. Civilization thrives not only through structures and institutions but through the quiet, repeated acts that nurture relationships, create shared memories, and weave the enduring bonds that hold communities together. Civilization is shaped not only by grand events but by the quiet awareness of daily life. Through mindful engagement with routine practices, preparing food, observing dreams, delivering messages, and brewing, humans cultivate reflection, presence, and appreciation for the ordinary moments that define existence. Medieval snacks encourage mindfulness. The careful selection of apples for fritters, the preparation of rich honey cakes, and the crafting of savory meat pasties invite attention and care. Each step demands focus, patience, and reverence for the process. In these small acts, the mundane becomes meaningful, teaching the value of presence and the joy in simplicity. Dream interpretation nurtures reflection. Priests and scholars observed subtle patterns, recorded visions, and drew insights from fleeting moments of consciousness. By considering dreams carefully, individuals and communities learn patience, discernment, and the profound significance hidden within ordinary experiences. The Pony Express demonstrates mindful dedication. Riders navigated unpredictable terrain, faced harsh elements, and honored schedules and routes with unwavering attention. Their awareness of each detail ensured messages reached their destinations, highlighting the importance of presence, care, and precision in human endeavors. Beer brewing embodies mindfulness and ritual. Women brewers followed careful sequences of preparation, fermentation, and communal celebration. Each step required observation, patience, and attentiveness, transforming everyday work into a practice that fosters reflection, skill, and appreciation for the interconnectedness of life. Through food, dreams, messages, and craft, humans learn to pause, notice, and honor the present. Civilization is enriched not only by monumental achievements but by mindful engagement with ordinary tasks, by reflection that turns each moment into an opportunity for understanding, creativity, and quiet appreciation. Civilization is woven from countless acts of care, creativity, and courage. When we observe these practices, preparing food, interpreting dreams, carrying messages, and brewing, we recognize the generosity, skill, and dedication embedded in everyday life. This awareness fosters gratitude, humility, and a profound connection to the broader human story. Medieval snacks teach appreciation for effort and resourcefulness. The sweetness of honey cakes, the warmth of freshly fried apple fritters, and the hearty satisfaction of meat pasties remind us that someone, somewhere, labored thoughtfully to provide nourishment and joy. Gratitude arises naturally when we recognize the care behind these simple pleasures. Dream interpretation nurtures humility. Priests and scholars devoted themselves to understanding visions beyond their own experience. By listening carefully, recording insight, and guiding others, they revealed how human knowledge is cumulative and collaborative. The realization that wisdom is built over generations encourages humility and respect for those who came before. The Pony Express inspires reverence for courage and resilience. Riders faced harsh weather, treacherous terrain, and constant danger to ensure communication and connection. Their dedication reminds us that civilization depends on the often unseen effort of individuals, and gratitude emerges when we reflect on the sacrifices that make progress possible. Beer brewing highlights the quiet dignity of work. Women brewers managed complex processes, preserved tradition, and nourished communities. Each batch is a testament to diligence, skill, and commitment to communal well-being, illustrating how ordinary acts of care sustain society over time. Through food, dreams, messages, and craft, humans connect to one another and to the long continuum of history. Gratitude deepens as we acknowledge the dedication embedded in everyday life, and humility grows as we recognize the shared effort that shapes civilization. These practices remind us that we are part of a story much larger than ourselves, and that each thoughtful act contributes to its ongoing rhythm. Every act of care, creativity, and dedication leaves an imprint on the fabric of civilization. The preparation of meals, the interpretation of dreams, the delivery of messages, and the careful crafting of beer, all these practices create a legacy that informs, inspires, and shapes future generations. Medieval snacks are more than fleeting delights. The recipes for apple fritters, meat pasties, honey cakes, and other treats preserve knowledge of flavor, technique, and community customs. Each bite carries echoes of those who came before, reminding future generations of ingenuity, resourcefulness, and the joy that sustains human life. Dream interpretation contributes to intellectual legacy. The meticulous records of priests and scholars reveal an evolving understanding of the human mind, spirituality, and society. By documenting insights and patterns, they pass down wisdom that guides ethical reflection, decision-making, and imagination across centuries. The Pony Express represents the enduring influence of courage, determination, and innovation. Riders established networks that connected distant communities and inspired future communication systems. Their brief but powerful example demonstrates that dedication and ingenuity can leave lasting impact far beyond their immediate time and place. Beer brewing preserves cultural and social legacy. Women brewers safeguarded techniques, refined traditions, and nurtured communal bonds. Their careful stewardship ensures that knowledge, skill, and cultural practices flow through generations, influencing societies, rituals, and tastes long after the first fermenting vessels were filled. Through these acts of food, dreams, messages, and craft, civilization cultivates continuity. Each thoughtful effort contributes to the shared inheritance of human culture, ensuring that lessons, creativity, and care are passed forward, shaping the lives, values, and imagination of generations yet to come. The legacies of food, dreams, messages, and craft invite us to pause, reflect, and cultivate empathy. Each act, carefully preserved and passed down, bridges the distance between past and present, allowing us to feel the thoughts, joys, and challenges of those who lived long before us. Medieval snacks offer glimpses into everyday life, revealing the creativity, resourcefulness, and shared pleasures of the people who prepared and enjoyed them. By imagining their experiences, we develop empathy for lives shaped by simplicity, necessity, and ingenuity, fostering understanding across centuries. Dream interpretation nurtures reflection. By studying the visions recorded by ancient priests and scholars, we glimpse the fears, hopes, and spiritual curiosity of previous generations. Recognizing their concerns as human and relatable encourages compassion and reminds us that the search for meaning is universal and enduring. The Pony Express illustrates the human desire to connect. Riders braved vast landscapes and danger to deliver messages, sustaining relationships and communities. Contemplating their courage inspires gratitude and empathy, reminding us that connection, care, and perseverance are timeless values. Beer brewing embodies care, skill, and social cohesion. Women brewers maintain traditions, shared knowledge, and nourished communities. Their work encourages us to honor diligence and creativity while recognizing the social bonds created through shared practices. Through these enduring legacies, reflection and empathy flourish. Civilization is a conversation across time, a dialogue connecting hearts, minds, and actions. By appreciating the dedication, ingenuity, and care embedded in human history, we nurture understanding, compassion, and connection, allowing the past to guide and enrich our present.